Hello, this is Hope Roski with Real Estate and Home Improvements. Well, have you ever thought about what am I going to do when it comes time to buy a home? Well, my next guest is going to help you out with just that. I'd like to take the time to welcome Jeff Crow. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Nice
for
to meet
having me, Hope.
You bet, Jeff. So you're working with couples who are trying to basically upgrade their life, correct? And make and get into their first home and just make that difference.
Yes, absolutely. And really all homeowners, but the primary clientele is going to be folks who just got into a new home. And oftentimes what they're finding is that they're going to be there for a while because in today's real estate market, it looks like it's going to be more of a bull market for a while, meaning not a lot of new sales and new construction. And so the way that people are going to be able to increase the value of their home is by upgrading their home and making it more energy efficient and doing other things that raise the value of the home. Insulation, dual pane windows, other things that are going to lower PG&E bills and generally raise the value of the home over the long term. And as everybody knows, your home is your number one investment typically for any couple. Out of all the different types of investments out there, typically for most couples, their home is the number one investment they have, and they're going to be there for a while. So upgrade, and you'll see your equity go up and all kinds of other benefits.
So this may not be the time to, quote, flip a house then.
I wouldn't say so, but I'm also not technically a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, but from what I've seen with the market, and I've been around the market for a minute, I have friends that have real estate firms, that it's probably going to be better for people to do upgrades. But even if you're planning on staying in a home over the short term, you still have to live there. You have bills, and if you get new dual pane windows or you get new insulation or you get a new roof and things like that, there's lots of incentive programs. It's a good time for doing that, and you're going to save money on your monthly bills while you're living there. So there's still a benefit. And then when you do go to sell, you're most likely going to see an increase in value.
Well, one of the things, people are really interested in the solar panels right now, and there are two options. One is to rent, and the other is to buy. What would you suggest to somebody, because it is a big investment, what would you suggest to people?
With solar, that's a good question because right now there's a shift with what California's Public Utilities Commission is doing and the way they reimburse people. Some people, they do find that leasing solar is going to be a better idea, or a power purchase agreement, as they're often called, especially older folks, I would say. Now, if you're younger, you plan on being there for a while, then you probably would want to go with an ownership plan. But one thing we can do is we can look at your situation individually. And another way also to decrease the overall cost of solar is to do other types of energy efficient upgrades.
Okay.
So let's say somebody's spending $300 a month on PG&E. Well, they can spend X amount on windows and a few other things, insulation, getting it up to the R38 standard, et cetera, that lowers the bill for a lot less than what it would cost to do solar to accomplish the same thing. And so you can lower your bill by whatever percentage, and we gauge that individually based on lots of different factors. Of course, the folks see the email address on the screen, they can definitely reach out. But you'll find that by doing these other smaller upgrades first,
yes,
when you do go with solar, instead of having to tackle like a $300 or a $500 a month bill, now you're only having to tackle a $100 a month bill.
And that,
so it's fewer panels and cheaper.
And that's significant. And I think what people are so hesitant about is like, oh my goodness, it costs so much to put it in. But again, you're looking at the long haul. So you're not looking at the sprint, you're looking at the marathon.
Yes.
So you're looking at the long haul, and it's like, my mom just recently sold her home, and she never put them in. And I just remember how expensive her bills, just like through the roof, where the neighbor across the street who had a 2-story, my mom had a single level, they have the solar panels, and they're paying nil to none. And it's just incredible how wonderful those solar panels can be. Now, another thing that you mentioned was insulation and then the types of windows. I think windows, and insulation are also very key. So what type of windows would you suggest that are the most energy efficient for customers?
Well, we deal with a few brands. The company that I've targeted with this area is Vizina Industries. They deal with Sierra Pacific and a few other Milgard, some of the Anlin,
Right.
you know, the names that we all know in the Central Valley, and really a lot of America knows. I think Anlin and Milgard in particular. But Vizina is the local contractor that I deal with when it comes to solar and with the windows and the roofs and the insulation items. They also do fireplaces and some other things, insert stuff like that. And so Milgard and Anlin are great. What the folks mainly want to do is just upgrade most windows that are more than about 15 to 20 years old. Some people will say, well, my house already has dual pane windows.
Right.
Well, they may not be working as effective as they should over the course of time. Like any product, they do degrade. They have a gas that's in between the two actual window panes themselves that help, conduct or whatever energy. The other issue is sometimes people went and bought them at one of the big box stores, and what they don't know is that when you buy dual pane windows at places like those, I won't mention them specifically, but no shout outs from me. Not unless you want to join my website, you're more than welcome. But so what they don't know about buying from the big box stores is that windows are most effective when they're made based on the regions of the country they're going to be shipped to, because the desert Southwest is much different than the Southeast, where you have Florida, it's much more humid,
Yes.
or the Northeast, where you have New York, Boston, all the cities up there that they have a lot, more winter issues. Midwest is more winter issues. We have a different setup, and oftentimes the big box stores will just take generically made ones. Now, you may have picked up windows designed for the desert Southwest, but you might have picked up ones that were more designed for Florida. And yes, they're doing something, but they're not doing exactly
What they should.
Yeah, and what the potential is. Or you might have a mix and match. You might get a bunch. You may have 8 windows that you purchased at the big box store, and one is a Florida focused window. Another one's a couple are from New York, and they all look the same, but the way that they save heat versus bring in cooling and things like that, based on what weather patterns are in that region, you could have a mix and match of windows, and they're only 60% doing what dual pane windows should be doing if you had all California, Nevada, Arizona-esque kind of windows, because
Right.
we have a unique climate here. We're very hot, the western states, and you could throw Texas in there too. That you need to have. We want to have as much sunlight reflecting back, not going into the home during the
Right.
summertime.
Well, one of the other things too, and as of somebody who lived in the Southwest, the screens are essential. And especially, you can have these really dense screens to keep out the heat, but sometimes people feel like, well, I can't look out, but they have, again, different levels. So, it's the windows, it's the screens, it's the insulation. What about water? That's something we haven't touched on yet.
That's a great question. Thank you so much. So I deal with Ratchford Quality Water. The owner is Mark Ratchford. He has been around this region for 30 plus years in the industry, and he deals with Hague water, which Hague, in my view, is the best water conditioning softening unit there is. I've worked for 3 different places. When I was in college, that was one of my side jobs, was making phone calls for some of the local water treatment businesses. And so most softeners are great. They do, they accomplish great things, soften your skin. They make your hair, feel soft and silky. You use about 75% less soap products because you have clean water going in, or
Yes.
cleaner water going in. Also, the buildup on plumbing that happens over time from hard water, you prevent that.
That calcium, that
Yes.
buildup, yes.
People see the stuff in their toilets sometimes. I live in Clovis, and I'll see this orange stuff sometimes. I have no clue what it is, and I work in water. I've narrowed it down to like 2 or 3 suspects, probably iron mixed with some other things. But these types of conditioners take that stuff out. And then you have the drinking water filters that create bottled water right there at the kitchen sink for them. And so the other day, in fact, I had a customer who was spending $45 a month on delivered water. Well, even if all they did was get a drinking water system, we will rent it to them for approximately $30 a month or so. So, and that makes unlimited drinking water right
Sure.
there at the convenience of their kitchen sink. We'll also lease out the water softeners. Most other companies will not do that. They make people buy these outrageously priced, overpriced units more often than not. Whereas we will allow homeowners, especially with today's market, to just pay a down payment for the installation, and then they just pay a monthly rental lease fee, and all the salt or whatever else issues, that's all covered, and it's all maintenance, and everything's handled.
Well, great. So how would people get in touch with you?
Thank you, thank you. So the website is yourtrustedhomeupgrades.com, and then you can, of course, send an email, info@yourtrustedhomeupgrades.com. For any of you that are contractors, go to homecrewreferrals.com, and you can talk to me about having your company added to my list. I market directly to homeowners using real estate apps and other items, so I can definitely bring you customers. And for any homeowner that does choose to just even explore what your options are as far as upgrading your home, I'm going to give you $1,000 in grocery discounts. You get to select the products that you normally buy, and you can redeem these at a store of your choice. And with today's prices in food, $1,000, you get to select it. You literally go to the website on the back of it. There's a promo code. You type in whatever it is that you eat. You'll get discounts for those products. You go straight to the store. And so there's really nothing to lose and only to gain by chatting with me.
Exactly. That sounds great. Well, Jeff Crow, I thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a pleasure. And folks, please, I mean, it's a win-win for you just for the consultation. So please reach out to Jeff at yourtrustedhomeupgrades.com. This is Hope Roski, and thank you for watching.